Has anyone got any questions for us? Anything they've always wanted to ask a police officer? Yeah? What was that? What things are illegal in the UK? Well, there's lots of stuff that's illegal. I say one of the things with young people, like knives and stuff like that, a lot of people don't know the rules around carrying knives and stuff like that. So if you're over 10, you are of the age of criminal responsibility. And if you're under 18 and you're caught carrying a knife, there is no excuse to be carrying a knife if you're a young person. If you're a chef or you're a workman going to work, they might have an excuse to carry some sort of blade or something like that. But if you're under 18 and you've got a pointed or a blade on you, you know, if you get stopped by the police, you're going to get into a lot of trouble. So under no circumstances should anyone ever be carrying a knife or something like that. Yeah? Sorry mate, you have that. So he asked if someone's driving a car and you ask them to pull over, can we do that? Is that
and they don't.
And they don't? Oh, okay. Well, there's specially trained officers in the police who do like a training course where they can pursue cars that don't stop. So, for example, we've got someone on our team, Frosty, who's got that training course, so he can do that. He can chase after cars that don't stop. Even us as officers, if we can pull over cars, anyone in uniform can pull over a vehicle. If they fail to stop, we get on our radios and we say we've got a car that's failed to stop here. We relay that information up to our controls and to the rest of the borough, and then we get the appropriate support. But yeah, we'd always try and stop them from driving off. That's the question. Yeah.
Do you need a permit to open a lemonade stand?
A permit to open a
lemonade stand.
Lemonade stand? Well, I don't know. If you're a young entrepreneur and you're trying to earn a bit of money, I don't think the police are going to question you if you're just selling a bit of lemonade. If you're selling alcohol, that might be a different problem. But yeah, no, that's fine.
What age groups have we got here today? Who's the youngest here? We've got an 8-year-old. Is there an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old?
Yeah, 9.
9, is that youngest?
9.
9. So we've got 9-year-olds and we got to 19, 20. Is that
21.
right? 21-year-olds.
30.
Has anybody had any interactions with police? Good or bad? Anyone got stories or?
Stop search several times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How have you found them?
Not very nice.
However,
what did they find on her?
however, the question would be why? Why? Is it because I'm black?
Individual circumstances? What? Do you want to say an example?
No, they just stopped me and because I was in Croydon and I live in Crawley, they stopped and just asked me, Madam, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to Crawley. Okay, have you had a drink? I said, no. Off you go. Simple as that.
Oh, okay, so you wasn't searched, you were spoken to.
Oh, there's a difference.
There is a big difference. Big difference. Yeah. So we do. So there's something called a stop and account. So where we will stop and speak to people if they're walking in the periphery of an area where we may be looking for something or we may be undergoing a different part of work. And then a stop and search is exactly what it says. So you've actually been detained by police. You can't leave, and we're searching you. We're searching your pockets. We're searching your bag. We're searching your items to see if you've got an illegal substance. So for that to happen, there has to be legislation that supports that. So there's different parts of legislation that gives police search powers. So if we had information like my officer said in relation to someone potentially carrying a weapon or a knife, there's under section 1 of our Police and Criminal Evidence Act, so which anybody can look up and read, that gives any officer can stop anybody and they can be searched under that act to make sure that they haven't got that illegal item on them. So that there may be information that's been passed to us police officers, or when there's other legislation, I'll go through them. So other common one is section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act. So if we have any suspicion to believe that somebody's in possession of cannabis or any other illegal substance, you can be stopped by a police officer and searched to see if you've got that illegal substance on you. And then there's things that senior officers can put in place, so Section 60 of the Criminal Justice Act, which means that we can stop anybody in a certain area. So that's normally when we have large-scale events, or if we've had information in Croydon Town Centre to say we've had 3 stabbings over the last 2 weekends, a senior officer can put a Section 60 in place to say that any police in that area of Croydon Town Centre, anybody walking in that periphery can just be stopped and searched to make sure they don't have a weapon on them. Now they're normally the ones that we get a lot of contested stops because they say exactly that, madam. Why are you stopping me? Why are you stopping me? And when we try and explain it to them to say, would everybody here deem it reasonable if 2 weekends in a row we'd had 3 stabbings on both weekends, if a senior officer said, we're not having any stabbings anymore, it's not fair to the members of the public, we'll put a Section 60 in place and we'll put loads of officers in the town centre and anybody could be searched. Man, woman, young, old, anybody could be searched to make sure there's no weapons in the town centre. I personally, maybe biased, I've been in the police 15 years, I don't see that as unreasonable. I think that's keeping everybody safe. But some people still aren't happy and they'll contest their stop, but then, like with my officers, I always ask them to have a sort of policing nose and that curiosity to police. If someone's refusing to stop and refusing to be searched, then we immediately believe that why are they stopping? Why aren't they stopping? Why aren't they listening to us? Sorry sir, go ahead.
30 years ago, there were like officers everywhere on the beat. What has happened to the beat?
Not enough officers joining. So there's not enough of us, sir. So we used to have, when I first joined the organisation in 2010, we had 37,000 officers. I think the last count were about 30,500. So we've lost 6,500 officers. So there's just simply not enough. We've had officers from different departments that have been brought back to frontline policing. So we used to have youth and schools workers. PC Pell used to be one. He used to be on our schools team. But then they've disbanded all those youth engagement teams, school teams, brought them back to frontline policing to try and get the frontline officers' numbers up. But yeah, there's just not enough. Unfortunately, there's not enough of us, and there's not enough people joining. Go ahead.
But most of the police stations have been sold off.
Yeah.
Well, where's the money gone?
So
I thought it would come in to support the beat.
to pay salaries. So there's a certain amount of budget that gets paid to us by MOPAC and by the government every year. Every single year, it's not enough to cover. So the Met are having to make tough choices to pay the salaries of the officers that they have. So that and that has gone as far as selling all of the police stations off that we can.
Are you investing the money to keep this money on the side, or we are going on a downtrend? When you've sold off everything, then no police officers?
Well, it can never get to that, but it's a worrying time in our organisation. So we've had numbers. I think when we were at 37,000, our expenditure to meet that was nowhere near where it needed to be. The budget we were getting was somewhere down here, where we've got rid of officers or officers have left on retirement, and we've sold property. We're probably levelling off. But it's not a case of we've sold property, we've got money in the bank, let's reinvest it. That's not how it works. So we work a lot on budgets that we have to apply to different sort of grants to get from the Mayor's office, from MOPAC, from City of London, to say give us more money so that we can do better work. Different council teams. So like we've got something called the Bid in Addington, where they're paying the Addington area over the next 4 years. They've got a £2 million budget for the next 4 years. So some of that money, we're going into the council, into the community of the bid group to say, can the Met have some of that money? And we will do the best we can with what money you give us. So whether we pay overtime for officers to be on the beat more, whether we pay for more driving courses to chase more criminals, because a lot of problems we get are moped crime and stolen bikes. So to chase those bikes, we need to pay for the courses for the officers to do it. So things like that is how the police get through. It's not just the Met, that's the police, whether it be Surrey. I think you're all from Surrey area normally, aren't you, some of you? Yeah. So whether that be Surrey Police, the Met, Greater Manchester Police, all of the police work a lot on money that we can get externally, not just what comes to us from the government. Go ahead.
I'm seeing a very fairly balanced team of officers there, ladies and men alike.
Yes.
would you mind taking us a little bit through the careers in the forces? What are opportunities for these young men when they reach that age and they want to join?
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, we'll go down the line at how everyone joined, how they started, because it's all different pathways. And then we can take any questions on from anyone that wants to go from there. So I'll start then. So yeah, I started 2010, and I've done a variety of things in my career. Started at Bromley, then went to Greenwich, where I did a lot of time on what we call relief, which is emergency response, answering the 999 calls in the cars. I then went off to a gangs unit, and a lot of my work was done with gang members and gang crime. I used to spend a lot of time in plain clothes, targeting knife crime and trying to infiltrate young members of the community to not get into gang life. I then went off to do some promotion stuff on a burglary squad, and then got promoted to join the team over here in Croydon 3.5 years ago, and now on the post where we are in the neighbourhood structure of Croydon. So, and then I'll start down the line. So,
yeah, I joined the Met in 2014. I got made redundant in an office job, and I wasn't one of those people that always wanted to be a police officer. So I'd just been made redundant, and I saw that the police were recruiting. So I thought, why not? I'll fill out the application form, and then before you know it, you're given a day one where they give you some assessments to do, sort of basic English and maths, and some sort of role plays and stuff like that, and you do a little interview, and then if you pass that, they'll invite you in for a day two, which is like a fitness test. And a medical, yeah. And again, people think, oh, fitness test, they think it's going to be really hard. It's not. You just need a basic level of fitness. One of the things that we have to do is run the bleep test, which is 5.4. Are we all aware of the bleep test? Yeah. So yeah, it's 2 fixed points where you have to run between, and you have to do it in time to the beeps, and they gradually get faster and faster. I think it goes from level 1 to about level 18 or something like that. And the only level that they're asking you to get to is 5.4, so it's quite a basic level of fitness that, you know, everyone looks quite fit here, so I imagine you'll be able to do it.
5.4 miles?
No, 5.4 is literally, I think it's about 3.5 minutes of constant running. So yeah, it's not a long time. So yeah, did all that, and then before I know it, I was in sort of police training school, and I did you do sort of a couple of months at a training centre, and then 12 years later, I'm still here. But I was one of those people that never really wanted to be a police officer, which is good because I think sometimes you need that type of officer in the organisation, so because it sort of brings a different mindset to it. But yeah, I've obviously made a bit of a career out of it. I'm still here, and it's I've done various roles: safer neighbourhoods, tasking team, schools team. It's a very varied job, so I would encourage anyone that's got an interest to maybe apply. And even if you don't like it, you know, you can do a couple of years. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. But I was sort of one of those people. I'm still here 12 years later. So yeah.
we'll go down our line and then we'll take questions. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jay. I'm a police community support officer. I joined the Met in 2022. How it starts with you obviously apply, and then you get invite, go for an assessment, do like a little role play, and then obviously do your vetting and your fitness, and also we still have to do the 5.4 bleep test as well, the same sort of fitness that the police officers do. Then we go to the training school for 6 weeks. When I was there, we had to do like 3 exams to pass them. Once you've passed them, then you get go on to like wards and stuff. My pathway was a bit different. I worked with specialist departments for 3 years at Bromley Police Station, working alongside police officers and detectives, and then obviously came over to Addo in October of last year. And basically what police community support officers do, they obviously engage with people. They'd say their ears and eyes for the police. So we gather information, and we report back and hopefully help the communities, get involved in schools and other engagements and stuff like that. My background is obviously I come from the NHS, so I already have that sort of like knowledge and experience working with the public. I've worked in many hospitals, and yeah, so that is the pathway that a police community support officer goes through. and I'm obviously enjoying what I'm doing.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Summer. I joined about 2 years ago now. The pathway I took to join, you just needed a degree, so it could be a degree in anything. Like, it didn't have to be related to the police. So I did like my GCSEs, went to uni. My degree was in animal science, and then as uni was finishing, I just started applying for different things. The police being one of them. I done my day one, which was like the role plays, a bit of an interview, scenario-based stuff. Day two, like medical and fitness. And then yeah, before you knew it, I was in like training school for about 8 weeks, I think. And then I was over at Bromley for about 10 weeks, and then my first like proper posting was on SNT at Addington.
Sorry, do you mind asking what you do?
I'm an SNT officer, so
What does that mean?
like
Safer
safer neighbourhoods.
The reason some of us are in this uniform is because we did a community engagement event earlier today, where we set up a stall. Anyone heard of a park run? Yeah, so we did the one in Lloyd Park. So we had a stall up, there had like leaflets, and we had some uniformed officers there, like engaging with the community. And then a few of us were able to actually do the run as well, just to show a bit of sort of team spirit and getting amongst the community. So there's lots of fun things you can do. It's not all just sort of, you know, arresting people, stopping searches. You know, it's nice to do these sort of community events.
We had a big poster, we called it Cops and Runners. So we were running with everybody, and they had loads of us cops in the field. So got it, Resh.
Hello guys, my name's Resh. I've been here now for 5 years. So I originally did a degree in criminology, and then I saw this job come up, so I thought let's give it a try. I joined, like the others had said as well, did an interview, did a couple of role plays, had to be quite good at maths and English as well. And then yeah, joined, because I already had a degree, my probation would only be 2 years, so I did training for 12 weeks, and then came back to Borough, so then I took 999 calls for about 8 months, and then joined the Safe Neighbourhood teams for the rest of the remainder. But yeah, it's great, we do a load of, like, range of different things, engagements, talks, supporting victims, talking to them, and just building community trust as well. And I think it's great, especially coming from this sort of background as well, and you know, gaining that trust with the public. I think it's such a great tool to have, because it's likewise, it's really important for all of us really.
Hi everyone, I'm Izzy. I've been in the job about 2 years, and I came down the same entry route as Summer. So it's called Police now, and it's a graduate scheme. So I did a degree in history, and then I just was looking for what grad schemes are out there, and I came across Police now. So yeah, it's 8 weeks of training, so it is a bit accelerated compared to the standard route, where they give you some scenarios as you go. Then on to street duties, where you kind of learn your skills in real time, which is in Bromley, and then straight on to Safer Neighbourhoods in Addington. And I'm myself, Ed and Resh make up the Selsdon ward, so we obviously deal with all the engagement that happens there, but also we work in the wider team across New Addington, Selsdon, Forestdale as well.
Hi everyone. Like everyone's journey, mine's quite similar to theirs as well. So through training, got the induction, routine exercises, interviews and stuff, and then you get an 8-week classroom-based training, and then you get assigned, well, it used to be Safer Transport or Safer Neighbourhoods team, but the transport bit has been taken away now. So I got assigned the Safer Neighbourhoods team, where I found myself under the line management of Sergeant Morrow. I'm on Sanderstead with the 2 officers, and yeah, I've been here for 2 years. And my background was, I used to work in the tax office, contact centre, and yeah, I literally came across this and thought there is a kind of image out there about the police, especially in our community as black people. So I thought I would be that change that everyone talks about in the community, and whether small or big, I just thought I would join the force to kind of see if there is that much more that I can add to the team or be that much more of a difference in the community that I work in. So yeah, that's my journey.
How would you encourage the next ethnic minority to join? Because we all worry about joining the police. We all hear all these negative publicity about joining the police. How would you encourage another young person or another ethnic minority to join the police force?
So there is quite a few routes through which you could actually come into the force. I believe there is the cadets, but I think that's been the resourcing on that has been pulled a bit. But there is that route to get kids involved of the different ages that that are here with us today, and that way they get a feel of it to see if they feel comfortable in that environment, what they think about the police, and they get educated as well about the work that we do, and that way you slowly build up their confidence and their knowledge as well, and understanding of the actual organisation, and then yeah, it's for them to choose whether they like it or not. And yeah, it's just, I think it's just trying to get that mindset change, but you could do it at any stage in the actual organisation, because we've got PCSOs, constables, DIs, which is detective inspectors, detective constables. So again, you just build yourself up with, you know, you just work yourself up the chain.
Minimum age?
Sorry?
Minimum age to join the police?
18.
18.
Yeah.
And minimum wage, obviously, where the money is.
Depends on the role. So
The basic role,
yeah,
entry
it
level.
depends on the role. But basic entry, I think when upon joining now, is it about 38? Is it? I think 38,000 a year, and then it goes up yearly. So yeah, it's not.
So after 7 years as a police constable, you can be earning like 60 plus, and we've just got a pay rise of 3%, so it should go up. You know, by that's probably another 1,000 maybe. The money is good, and it is a career. Like, it's a good starting wage as well. So imagine being 18, applying, and suddenly earning £38,000 a year. It's a pretty good start to your adult life.
The pension is not bad either, so
Yeah, the pensions.
the pension is quite good.
Go on, young man, you've been waiting.
Why are more people joining the team?
Why aren't they? It's difficult. I think some people don't like the police, so they don't think that as a career option.
I think like the rise of sort of social media and stuff like that, because who's got like Instagram, TikTok, like how many videos do you see on there of like the police being filmed and stuff like that, and those types of videos go viral, they get millions of views where it's a police officer. So I think that probably puts off a lot of people, think, oh, would I want to be that person that's filmed in that video? I think that's like a big factor, and it is quite a stressful job at times as well. But
it's difficult. We have people leave exactly for that reason. So they join the police. They want to make a change. Everything my officers have said, like everyone joined for a different reason. You want to make a change. You want to make a difference. But when you remember, like we've still got our own lives. Take all our uniforms away. We've got our own families. We've got our time away from our work. But when you're getting someone who puts a camera in your face or calls us a name, or like they more often people attack the uniform, but they don't think about the person underneath. So a lot of people leave. I've worked in this job a long time and seen people leave the organisation because they say, I don't want to do that. So that's where we lose numbers as well. Other questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. My question is for you, Mark.
Ed.
There is the rumor going around that there are no opportunities to move up the ladder in the police. Kind of discrimination. Have you noticed that? Or is it true for everybody? The discrimination that people of colour, they don't go up the career ladder.
So I personally can't speak to that. Again, I'm quite new in the organisation, and I've been blessed to have quite a good team behind me. So again, I think it's just a personal experience. As I said, once you join the job, you kind of get that feel around, well, the team that you're among us and the people you're among us, and you just work off that. But no, there is support available as well to officers, and we are encouraged to kind of speak up if you feel that there is something that you don't feel right about. We've got line management. You've got your own colleagues as well. We encourage to actually challenge stuff. If you see something, even if it's amongst us, we actually have to challenge that. So yeah, again, it's just a personal experience. Yes.
Can he go next?
So these young parties, yeah, why do you guys bring so many armed here?
Sorry?
Like, you know, these young 16 like moves type stuff. Like, why are there like so many police like doing always like arresting the young people for no reason?
Can you elaborate a bit more? Example?
Okay, I'll give an example. Like 2 days ago, I had a party like I think it was a meeting, and it was like we saw many like police just bare patrolling the place, and one of my friends got arrested, but like he wasn't really involved. He was in a big crowd, and he just some fed thought was it. He was doing madness because he was in that crowd.
It's hard for us to make a comment on someone who's been arrested without knowing it fully. If there was a large party and the police were there, I don't know whether information has been passed off by a neighbour at the party or other members of the community have called police to say there's a large gathering. So that is something that police would go to. So if I was on duty and the team came into me and said, can you send some officers down to a large group, if we've got concerns about how big the group is, it's a house party that hasn't really got many adults or hasn't got a lot of adults who are taking control of the scenario, and my team then went down there, if an instance occurred where someone's been arrested, I've got to stand here and believe a crime has taken place for that to have happened, but I can't really speak to the individual circumstances. I always think like open discussions are good, and having that back and forth discussions, I spoke to many young people in my career, and I try and explain and have those back-to-back discussions, because you'll have scenarios where young people are arrested and then all their friends will be saying they've done nothing wrong, but then their friends didn't even realise that they had a knife or they had drugs on them. And there's the common misconception about cannabis. So cannabis is a nice one to talk about, because a lot of people believe cannabis is nothing really. In other countries it's okay to smoke cannabis. In other countries it's not a crime. Obviously in the UK and England, cannabis is still a crime. It's not been legalised and it is still a controlled drug. So when we have those discussions and their friends are getting arrested and because they've been stopped for the third or fourth time. So cannabis, if you get stopped the first time, you can have just a simple warning. So my officers will issue you a piece of paperwork to say, don't have it again. You'll sign to that effect to say you won't have it again, and it's a warning and it's done. If you get found with it a second time, the police will issue you a fine. So you have a fine to say that you've been stopped for the second time with this illegal substance, but we're still not going to criminalise you, we're still not going to put you through court, but we're going to give you a fine, a £90 penalty notice to say don't have it again. If you then get found with it for the third time, at that point we are then going to you're going to be placed under arrest and you're going to go to court. The likelihood is there you'll still get a fine when you get to court, but then it will be a crime and a conviction for which and then if you get found any time after that, you're going to keep getting arrested. So if someone's been arrested for having a small bit of cannabis, quite a common one is they'll say to all their friends, he had one joint on him, the police are taking it overboard, that's silly, why have the police done that? But nobody knows the true circumstances. We do our checks, we do all the checks of the history of those young people or adults that we're stopping, and if they've been stopped for the 5th or 6th time, what are we to do? We've got no options. They have to be put before a judge to say they're not listening to us, they keep breaking the law, and cannabis hasn't been made legalised here, so that's the offence that they've committed. And I think that's where we get a lot of back and forth, because people will be like, my friend's been arrested for no reason, and I've stood there before and been like, do you understand your friend had 6 packets of cannabis on him? And they go, oh no, I didn't know that. It's like, well, it's difficult, isn't it, to have those conversations? Yes, sir.
Yeah, you said that 18 and above you can join. Is there any age limit if you want to join? And also any qualifications and if you want to join, and how do you join?
So yeah, so the pathways are still very similar to how my team explained. Applications are online, and then there are still university pathways. There are still pathways where you don't have to go to university or obtain a degree, but depending on the pathway you choose will be how long your probationary period is and how long your initial training is. So depending on what role you want to go into, whether it be a community support role, or whether it be direct entry as a police officer, and we also do direct entry detectives as well, so detective direct entries, but their training will differ, and we do, the way the Met work, we don't open all pathways at once. So whatever the Met believe we're short on, we will open that for recruitment, and then we will pause the other recruitments until we're happy we've got a structure of a good numbers based on what we were saying earlier into the areas where we need them most. So if we saw a big slide in detective numbers, they would stop entries for PCs and PCSOs, and we would focus solely on detective recruits.
Yeah, but what was the age?
The age?
The limit, the maximum.
What that we would recruit?
Yeah.
I don't really know, to be honest. I don't think there's a limit on how many. We take applications from everybody, and then they would determine on how many got offered a position.
Yeah.
Do you mean that how old you have to be?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think we take anybody under 60. We take anybody. There won't be a.
I'm gonna join you.
Do an application online. I don't.
Yes, I'll do the
Yeah. Welcome to the team, sir. Go ahead.
Moons back, it used to be like a 6-footer job. Is this policy changed?
What? Sorry, did the
6-footer?
No. As you can tell, no, I don't think any of my team here are 6 foot other than Ed. No, there's no height.
They can start up a little bit, yeah.
No, there's no height limit. There's nothing like that anymore. Go ahead. So the UK police are trying their very best to not go to permanently firearmed officers, and I don't think we will for a long time, which I'm pleased about, because there's something called escalation. So if the UK police started to wear firearms, I truly believe that the community of which we police would move to also carrying illegal firearms. So we do really well. I think we're still the largest force in the UK. You'd have to look it up. Largest force in the world. As a structure, like I say, it's over 30,000 of us that we aren't permanently firearmed, and that's because we've got really good gun laws in our country. So there's no need for us to do it. We do have tasers, so tasers are a really good bit of kit to protect our officers and protect the public. So you've probably seen the videos on YouTube and online on socials. When we've met with somebody brandishing a knife or any other weapon, a taser is a really good, effective tool to obviously disarm that suspect and without permanent injury. It is only a momentary period. So, has anybody had cramp before? So when you've done football or you've gone for a run, you've got cramp in a muscle. So effectively, the taser voltage is 50,000 volts, and what it's doing, it cramps all your muscles at once. So that's why you see the effect where they just fall to the floor. So all their muscles have cramped at once, they fall to the floor. As soon as the taser stops being activated, so it's like a 7-second cycle, they go back to normal. So it's the little bit of pain of the prongs going into the skin, all the body cramps. Once they're on the floor, then we put them in handcuffs, they're absolutely fine. So it's a really good non-lethal tool to use.
Is the hand here?
Go ahead.
I've done a
bleep test. Can you stand up so we can hear you?
I've done a bleep test before.
You've done the bleep test before? Good man. Do you know what you got to? What level?
8 point something.
8 point something. Really good. Really good. So that's you could definitely join us. How old are you?
I'm 12.
12.
What test is that? Because the rest didn't hear.
Yeah. Bleep test. So he's done the bleep test before. So yeah,
What's the bleep test?
It's common in schools, the bleep test. I used to do it when I was at school before I joined the police. So yeah, it's a really good one. So if you're something that you're thinking about doing, you can practice it at school. But yeah, it's not. It really isn't like a strong level of fitness. A lot of officers see it as basically just a little bit more than a job. So 5.4 isn't a high level of fitness. The more trained you want to become in the police, the further you'll have to run. So if you want to be a riot trained officer, you have to run to 6.3, which is another sort of 9 shuttles on top. If you want to do a firearms training at our Parliament Royal Protection teams, you have to get to level 8. If you want to do special escort groups and specialist firearms teams and counter-terrorism officers, you have to run to over 10. So that's the ones, but they are the highest limit of fitness, and they're the officers that if we ever brought in a scenario years ago, does anybody remember the siege of the, what was the building? The embassy. There was a siege in the embassy, it was in the 80s. The Israeli embassy, did anybody ever saw that of the parents out there? You know the ropes, the officers on the ropes that came down? So they're the officers that have to run to the highest level, because they're specialist counter-terrorism officers who, of us, are supposed to be the fittest of the fittest and be able to swing down on ropes and things. Go ahead, young man.
So
if someone is fighting you in public and you fight back, but the police arrest you and you go to court, but like, if you go to court and they say you're guilty, if you go to court and you say that you're not guilty, is that still illegal to fight back?
I'll let you answer that one. So I don't talk all the time.
Sorry, can you say that again? Sorry.
So if someone fights you and you fight them back, but you're, the police send you to court, are you found guilty or not?
It depends on what the court decide, really. Obviously, we say that obviously this person needs to be charged if they've had a fight or if they've had a knife. But obviously, in terms of the decision, that will be the court's decision, and obviously it'll be the other person's decision whether they're going to plead guilty or not guilty. But that's nothing that we decide. It's all up to the courts at that stage.
I think he was more focused on if someone fights you in public and you fight back.
Self-defense. Self-defense.
Yeah.
It's still,
So the first point of structure on that, it goes to an evidential review officer. So all supervisors, we review the case. So my team would go to try and do the scenario of it. If there was a fight in the street, my team went there. They arrested both people because they couldn't determine who was at fault. We then look at the evidence, so then they'd see CCTV, they'd speak to witnesses, and then once they've obtained all the evidence for that offence, it comes to me. I review all the evidence, I look at the footage, I look at the statements, I look at the injuries that we've taken, and then I make the determination on who I believe I send to the court, to who I think has caused that issue. And then, exactly like my officer said, once it goes to the court, it is out of our hands. So another common misconception that I think we lose with the public is when one person in the community is causing a serious problem and they get arrested multiple times, whether it be that they cause antisocial behaviour, they're selling drugs, they're being a real problem in the community. We keep arresting them, we put them before the courts, but the courts, because of lack of space in the prisons or because of whatever reason other than that we can determine, they keep releasing them. What we don't often see in the members of the public, and this is a real gripe for me, is that comes back to the police. So everybody else will say the police are doing nothing. So what's wrong with the police? They're not doing nothing, they're not putting him behind bars. All we can do, once we've passed it to the Crown Prosecution Service and to the court's judicial system, we're done, the police are done, and it's nothing to do with us anymore. But imagine the frustration for us when we see Mr. Joe Bloggs back out on the street when my team have arrested him 4 or 5 times, and he's still back out causing trouble. It's more, I promise we're more frustrated than anybody else. Go ahead.
Can you apply to be a police officer if you have a criminal record?
You can apply, unlikely you're going to get in. So yeah, it's
I think like, as long as you're honest when you apply, if you've had any sort of interactions with the police, just be honest. For example, if you received a warning for having cannabis, as long as you're honest when you apply, that shouldn't be a massive issue. The thing is, if you apply and then you're not honest about it, and then they find out that you've been in trouble before, they might see that as, this person's dishonest. That's not an attribute we need in the police. But obviously, if you've got like a serious offence or anything like that, then the likelihood is that you probably wouldn't get in. But yeah.
Go ahead.
We've seen in like recent years, lots of countries have moved away from having like police respond to like mental health calls, essentially. What do you guys make of that? I've seen some police officers feel as if that gives them more time to do what they'll want to do as a police officer, and seen others feel like it's taking work away. Where do you lie with that?
So we've gone to this space called Right Care, Right Person. So it's an agreement with us, the London Fire Brigade, the London Ambulance Service and the mental health teams within the council, to essentially say that we want the right care to be provided to the right person for whatever issues that they are diagnosed with or they're experiencing. So the police go to a lot of calls that could be determined as somebody committing a crime or danger. So we'll attend there, and it could be somebody having something called ABD, which is acute behavioural disorder. I don't know if anyone's ever read up on it. So it's where someone's having a complete sort of out-of-body mental health experience. They're sweating profusely, they're extremely strong, they're hot to touch, and what essentially is happening is they don't know what they're doing, but they're a very, very real danger to other members of the public. So we will go to those calls to keep people safe, but the right person to care for that person isn't a police officer. So we would ask that the ambulance come and support us, because they're healthcare professionals along with the mental health teams to support what they need. And the police have had a real battle over the years in achieving that, because all emergency services are run so thinly that when any emergency service is on scene, then usually that means that the others will go elsewhere where there's a priority, whether that's right or wrong. So with this new right care, right person, I think we're in a better space for that. And as much as we join to help everybody in whatever circumstances they're in, I think what my team need to be attending is to real crime, to prevent people becoming victims, then being present at a mental health concern, which I think the true mental health professionals need to be present at.
I've got two, but because I know I may not be picked again, I'm going to ask both of them. And they are not related. One of them is, you've told us already about the opportunity, some very few opportunities you mentioned, and you've also mentioned the tech. But I think these young people here don't know that there is more than 3 or 4 jobs in the police. Can you tell them about the other exciting opportunities within the armed police? So that's one. The second one is, I haven't been keeping up really acute, but the problems of knife, gun and gun crime in London and South London especially have been going on for so many years. I don't know whether, my question is, where do you see the trend? Is it reducing? Is it increasing? And what's the force doing about it? And can you advise these young people how to avoid it?
Absolutely. So, first question, opportunities within the police force. You're completely correct. There are hundreds of different roles within the police. So without being frontline officers, we've obviously got forensic scientists within the police. We have analysts, intelligence analysts. So you can be, these are all police staff roles. So you can apply to the Met. You can be call handlers. So we have 3 centres. One's in Bow, one's in Hendon, one's in Lambeth. So you basically can train to answer the telephones. So when somebody calls the police on 999, you'll be the person on the other end of the phone who distributes units to where it's needed. We have, and then once you then join the organisation, there's different roles. So we have specialist crime officers, we have dog handlers, we have helicopter pilots. There's so many different avenues in which you can join. We have the Marine Support Unit who go up and down the Thames, the River Thames, on the boat. So yeah, essentially the possibilities are endless. So upon initially joining, you can find something that you're passionate about within our organisation, and you can flex to a different strand and a different team. You can do attachments with those teams to see if that's what you enjoy, and you can change your career path. So it's a job of multiple opportunities, and you can change your role in your 35, 40 year career that you choose to do. Does that answer question 1?
Yeah.
And question 2, the figures and how we're finding it. I think our population in London is just continued to increase. Whether that be that we've obviously, families are growing. I think everybody can agree the housing situation is obviously really difficult with houses and council housing, and that's the same problem. Our population's just got more and more, and I think with anything, if you put sort of like a lid on it, it increases trouble. So to answer the question, the numbers are going up, and it's going to be difficult to stop that without having an increase in police numbers and help. It's not just police that can change it. I think it's massive help within the community. I think now we see a lot more of that when we have big incidents and big issues. It's amazing to see how many different community groups and charities like yourselves will come out to speak and help and assist the police with obtaining any help or advice that they can. It's key work, like the community work that we do to prevent it. So if we do have a serious fatal stabbing in Surrey, for example, from where you guys come from, if I was Surrey Police, I'd be leaning on you guys as a charity to say, do you know your young people in the community? Will they speak to you instead of speaking to us to bring forward the people, the culprits and the groups, so that we don't have retaliations and we don't have further incidents. And sometimes that happens really well when the communities come together with the police, and then we can try and stop the best we can. My advice to all young people is to just speak to as many people as you can in authoritative figures that you find things in common with, whether that be a community worker, a teacher, a charity worker, an older person in the family, someone who you know has got good morals and good values, who are doing the best they can in life. Hang on to those good characters and keep speaking to them and be guided by them.
Okay, thank you very much. My question is about recruitment. As we all know, people of colour are underrepresented in the police force. I want to know, what kind of advice, what's the Metropolitan Police doing to increase recruitment of black people, Asian people in the London Metropolitan? And what kind of advice would you give these guys in case anyone here wants to join the police? How would they go on about it?
So we do regular adverts that are on the telly. Our latest advertisement was really good around saying, basically what we're trying to do is say we want everybody to recruit, all ethnic minorities, all backgrounds, females, males. We put it out for everybody to join. It's just difficult because we can't force people to join. So, and I think like's been discussed a couple of times here already, because there is some barriers between the communities and the police. I think it's difficult to bridge that and get people joining us, our organisation. And it's work like this, us coming out to answer questions and speak to you, and hopefully bring those barriers down a bit, that you will have those considerations that people may want to join our organisation and make those changes.
Okay, so in that case, if you had a career drive and I invited you to come and help with the recruitment, would you be willing to come and join us?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It would only be location on dependent. So if it was within the Met, we'd come down. But what I can promise to you is that if you're doing it in Surrey,
with one officer, I've joined as well. So I think the more of us that is in the force, it actually puts the information out there for people to actually join and be part of the actual organisation.
Can you just add on to that?
Yeah,
what's your second name and where do you come from?
Right, I am quite known to quite a few of...
Yeah, but not everybody.
Yes,
You're shy.
Yes, my last name is Boaya, and my mum is quite a friend to a few of the people here.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I do know quite a few of the people that in the crowd today, but yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you. So guys, there you go. She didn't answer the question though. Where do you come from? Where does mom come from?
She's Ugandan.
Guys, remember when I said we have a surprise? Edwin is a surprise. He's one of us. Edwin.
Right, so again,
at all?
Sorry?
Do you do mentoring?
No, we do.
The best thing we can do is just have open discussions and work with each other to try and bridge it a little bit. So rather than that, nobody likes that back and forth of like, why is this happening to me? I think it happened, the lady standing up there obviously said, I don't know why it happened, was it because I was black? And things like that. I think it's really great to just have those conversations and let's try and steer away from it being that's the reason and go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So, shall I ask our chair, Mr. Kalani, to give a vote of thanks?
Yeah.
That was.
Okay, I really appreciate the time you've given us, especially given the time that we made contact really late, and we apologize for that. Next time, and I'm sure there will be a next time, we'll involve you as soon as we can. And you had other engagements as well this morning, so for that one we are grateful. We've done this is our fourth event. This is the first one in Croydon, so we've done 3 in Crawley, and I think for each of the 3 we had the police presence.
Yes, we have.
So yeah, so we are happy to continue this police working with you guys, and we are very grateful that you actually gave your time to be at such a short notice. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We do mentoring, career and everything related to mentoring because we want to improve the quality of life of our community. But specifically why we're doing father and son away day is we get fathers away from their daily work, put them with their sons the fathers begin to learn about their sons, things they cannot know during their 9 to 5. They are early
Absolutely.
out, they come back, they don't know what's going on at the house. So if we can come together and say these are the challenges of our sons, how can we prevent them from going downhill?
Yeah, and engaging in the wrong things.
How can they engage appropriately? How can they connect with the relevant support that is available if they've gone off the rails?
Do you think it's worked? Do you think it's been positive?
It is working.
Yeah,
It's been positive.
It's taking people away?
It's taking people away from, because people stop to think.
Yeah.
1 second. So there is an alternative to what I thought was good life.
Yeah.
I.e., if I need a good pair of sneakers or if I need this, I could get it that way.
Yeah.
But if we say no, you can actually stay in school, you can do what you've got to do, and these are the career options. But I can't get a job, I can't get into employment. We shall help you with CV work.
Yeah.
We shall help you with interview preparation. We shall mentor you while you are at the job. And let's see what happens in a year.
See what you can achieve. So putting a bit back on them, but providing the help and support that they need. One thing that I think would be really good, you know, the young lad that was sat on the wall there, I think it'd be really good for you mentors to speak to him about how he found today.
Okay.
So out of everyone we spoke to today and engaged with, I think his question was really key, because that's the common rebuttals that we will get on when we're with the general public and when things happen in the street, where he seemed a bit apprehensive, and his sort of question was like, well, I was at a party, my friend got arrested for no reason. So I think it'd be really good when we leave, you speak to him. How did you find today? What did you think that all those police officers speaking about the different ways they joined, the different backgrounds they're all from, did you think that changed your opinion at all on the community and police back and forth? And see what he thought. And it may be the case that he goes, I just don't like police, I don't trust them, and maybe we'll never change his mind. But he would be one that from that question and answers segment, I think he'd be a really good one for you guys to sit down and go, you asked a question that meant a lot to you, you got an answer, what did you think of the answer, what did you think about how he spoke, and see what you think, and see if it bridged any gap there, because if he has got those previous interactions with us and he doesn't have a good experience, maybe this changed it. So we'll see.
After lunch, our session is to talk about something slightly related to that, which is our thoughts, our feelings inform our behavior.
Yeah.
And so if we can work around that, what do we think, what do we perceive, what do we see?
Yes.
And how do we then understand that, and how do we make sure the behavior that comes from that is positive behavior
and changes.
The next session we're going to be talking about.
Perfect. Well, let me know how that goes.
Okay,
yeah.
You have to believe in your ability. You're capable of anything. You can achieve any dream. Please don't limit yourself. Don't live your life limited. It's not all sadness and misery. Life's a challenge, but you will succeed.